Hello, my name's Drew Neal. You might know me as the voice of Vimcasts. I've been writing a book about Vim, but this talk isn't going to be about Vim. The title of this talk is This is the Problem. And I'm not going to describe exactly what I mean by this, but I'm going to ask this question again a little bit later. This is some CoffeeScript, and there's a bug in here. Can anyone see it? Probably not. Yep. Okay, when I wrote this, I thought that this was referring to the form, when in fact, in this context, this actually refers to the button. And so saying this.submit does not do what I expected it to do. It's easily fixed just by adding this line, scope this. Actually, this being CoffeeScript, you could also use a fat arrow instead of a dashy arrow, and that would fix it too. That makes this refer to the thing that I originally thought this referred to when I was writing this code. This is the problem. Well, in this case, this isn't really a problem. I mean, we're dealing with JavaScript here, and JavaScript, the scoping rules of JavaScript are a little bit confusing at first, but you can learn them, and they're consistent between runtimes. They're in the spec. There are other things you can worry about in JavaScript between different runtimes, but this is not one of them. This is not the problem. I've been writing a book, as I mentioned earlier. I've not been writing much code in the last couple of years, but I feel as though I've improved as a writer, and I've sort of deteriorated slightly as a coder. But there are things that I've noticed that are sort of common good practices in writing and good practices in coding. This is an excerpt from my book, and when I got this back from the editor, there was this note in the margin. I think we have to restate what it is. It's not clear to me. Now, when I wrote this, it was perfectly clear in my head that it was referring to this, insert normal mode. But when you read that through, there's another noun that it could be referring to. It is a pronoun. It's a shorthand for something we've already talked about. And it's ambiguous whether it is referring to a single command or insert normal mode. So this is bad writing. It's a little bit like that problem earlier in JavaScript. It's a problem of scope. So, well, the solution was just to rewrite it. I got rid of it, and I think that reads better. Now, this really is a problem in this case, because whereas in JavaScript we have a runtime and we have a specification, in human language, most of the words in our vocabulary we have never actually looked up in the dictionary. Isn't that kind of amazing? That we all agree upon the meaning of certain words, and we can communicate using those words. But the reason why we understand that word to mean what it means is because we've heard that word used in so many different contexts that we've been able to extract the meaning. And when you think about that, I think it's kind of miraculous that we can communicate at all. This is another excerpt from my book, and this one came back with another note in the margin. I'm not even going to show you how I rewrote this. I just had to throw this out and start again. It's a mess. I'm not clear what this is, what it is, and what the range of text is matching. This is the problem. I said earlier I wasn't going to tell you what I mean by this. You decide.